Welcome, Pewter Report readers, viewers, and listeners to a brand new edition of the Pewter Report podcast brought to you by our friends over at Briar Greaves Insurance. Protecting your assets starts with a company that you can count on. So whether it's auto, homeowners, flood, boaters, or business insurance, there's nobody better in the business to work with than the great people over at Briar Greaves Insurance. For more information about them, visit their website, briargreavesinsurance.com, or give them a call at 813-876-4166. That's 813-876-4166. It is a Pewter post-game show. Thank you to everyone that's rocking with us on this Sunday evening and Sunday night. And I'm sure you're in a good mood because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won yet again, defeating the 49ers by a score of 30-19. It's the first time that Todd Bowles has defeated the 49ers since becoming the Bucs head coach. Baker Mayfield said it was the first time that he's beaten the 49ers in his career. And this was a gutsy win by Tampa Bay, having several players step up in big moments when it was needed. So we're going to break it all down on today's show. I'm your host, Matt Matera. Joined with me live from Raymond James Stadium is the face that runs the place at PewterReport.com, SR, Scott Reynolds. And Scott, it was another crazy game, finally a victory formation for the Bucs, but they find a way to do it once again.
Yeah, this was a huge win for the Buccaneers, for Todd Bowles, right? For finally beating Kyle Shanahan, somebody who's kind of had some mastery over the Buccaneers and certainly over Todd Bowles' defense. But the defense, you really got to give them credit. They came to life in this game. 2 interceptions, 6 sacks, including one from Jamel Dean that Todd Bowles said was one of the best plays he's ever seen. I think he likes to give Jamel Dean a hard time. But it got started off with a Kendall Vildor interception. Who had that on their bingo card? But Vildor really stepped up and played a good game. The 49ers were able to get a couple of chunk plays in the passing game. Todd Bowles credited a couple of players slipping for some of those big gains. But at the end of the day, those weren't fatal. Neither was Christian McCaffrey, who did score a touchdown, but really barely topped 100 yards worth of total offense. The 49ers ground game struggled. The Bucs run defense was great. And the pass rush was just something to behold. We had criticized this team for not getting to the quarterback with regularity. Diaby with 2 sacks today. Hassan Reddick split a sack. Elijah Roberts split a sack. It was an amazing job. Some of those were on blitzes. Lavonte David got a sack. Some of them were part of the 4-man and at times 3-man pass rush, as Todd Bowles really threw a lot at Mac Jones, confusing him with 8-man drops, 7-man drops, sometimes 6-man pressures. And at the end of the day, we have to really give the Buccaneers some credit. We've talked about how the turnover margin was going to be huge, and it has been in each of the last 3 games. The Bucs were in the negative 2-0 against the Eagles. They lost a close game. They were in the positive in Seattle, 2-0, and they won a close game. And now here you've got another 2-0 advantage for the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield, 2 more touchdowns, no interceptions. Matt, that was the recipe for success once again for the Bucs.
It really was. And credit to Baker Mayfield for elevating his game as it went on. Because I think early on, first quarter, he was a little shaky. He had a couple of those missed throws to Emeka Egbuka that looked behind him. But it was almost like he could only get all of his superpowers once Emeka Egbuka was out of the game. It was like, all right, well, I got to put the team on my back once again. And, have the touchdown throw to Kameron Johnson and then the awesome highlight reel touchdown throw to Tez Johnson that ended with a backflip celebration for Tez Johnson. But I do think, as great as Baker was, the story is the defensive side. And the biggest thing to me, along with a lot of the stats and the things that you rattled off, only 3 points were given up by Tampa Bay's defense in the second half. That is an incredible effort. And rightfully so. We were critical of this team of not being able to get to the quarterback and having to manufacture pressure in different ways. Well, it sounded like Yaya Diaby heard the noise because he had a much better game. Reddick was in the backfield a lot more. Vita Vea had a very dumb penalty on special teams late in the game. But early on, he was an absolute menace. Like the 49ers had no answers from him, which led to other plays by the Bucs defense and getting to Mac Jones. And don't make a scene, but what a return for Jamel Dean. The strip sack and the interception on 4th down as well. I think this has got to be the recipe for Tampa Bay is you obviously want to allow as little points as possible, but if they can keep their opponents to, today was 19, but I'm going to say around 20 points per game, this offense, regardless of who's available on this team, should be able to lead the way with anywhere from 25 to 30 points per game. The defense is not always going to look pretty. And sometimes Mac Jones is kind of slicing and dicing the team. Watching them get that late field goal at the end of the second quarter was frustrating Bucs fans. But 3 points in the second half is 3 points. You can't sugarcoat that any one way or another. So as long as they continue to create turnovers and make some more opportunistic type of plays, I think the Bucs, as they're showing right now, they can compete with anybody in the league. And we don't want to look too far ahead, but they do play the Lions on Monday Night Football. That's going to be an electric game. But, just a job well done all around by this group.
It really was, and again, this was a great complimentary football game. I think maybe the only blemish on special teams, aside from the Vita Vea running into the punter, which, that would have been something to see Vita Vea block a punt. It didn't quite happen that way, but then you've got another miss from Chase McLaughlin, and that was a little concerning, but then he made up for it he rebounded, and Josh Grizzard, back-to-back 30-point games. This offense seems to really kind of be coming to life now and scoring without Emeka Egbuka, who suffered an injury. The Bucs did have 2 injuries today. Emeka Egbuka left the game with a hamstring. That's worrisome because hamstrings typically are not 1-week injuries, as we're seeing with Mike Evans. But, you've got Tez Johnson and Kameron Johnson coming to life. Kameron Johnson had his first catch, also first touchdown. Tez Johnson had his first touchdown as well. I wrote about it in my SR's Fab 5 column. The Bucs have already kind of drafted their wide receiving core for the future, but it's astonishing that Baker Mayfield and this offense can keep clicking when they're down the top 4 receivers on the depth chart. And if you're thinking, well, what do I mean by 4? Well, remember, Jalen McMillan hasn't played yet this year. He's an injured reserve. He's essentially wide receiver 3 or 4, however you want to look at it. But Mike Evans, Chris Godwin were out. Jalen McMillan was out. Emeka Egbuka, for all intents and purposes, played about a half in this game, got injured in the third quarter and left. So quite a remarkable job. Sterling Shepard, Tez Johnson, Cam Johnson, Cade Otton. They were big in the receiving game for Baker Mayfield. And this is just, it feels like this is going to be a really special season. I mean, in some ways it already is. As Todd Bowles and Baker Mayfield were quick to point out in the post-game press conference, they're 5-1. That's really all it means is they're off to a good start. They got to finish, and they got to get enough bodies across the finish line to finish this race. But help is on the way. And in the meantime, it is next man at Matt, as you mentioned, Kendall Vildor, right? Jacob Parrish stepping up. Kameron Johnson, Tez Johnson. They're getting some huge contributions from some of these players. CJ Brewer had a sack today. So,
Sean Tucker with a touchdown.
Sean Tucker with a touchdown, exactly. So it's amazing what the depth of this team is able to do for Tampa Bay right now. Hats off to Jason Light, Rob McCartney, Mike Beal, the architects and the engineers of this roster. And as Todd Bowles said, they've been building this roster for several years now. And they're getting some contributions from their rookies, but they're also getting contributions from former practice squad guy like CJ Brewer, a guy last year who they had high hopes for, but battled a lot of injuries, didn't really see the field a whole bunch because of those injuries, and Cam Johnson, right? And Kendall Vildor was a huge addition this offseason to come in and be an experienced veteran cornerback to come in and make a big play like he did to get this Buccaneer team off to a hot start with the 7-0 lead early on.
It truly is a by committee approach at several positions, but I guess specifically what I mean is the wide receiver position, because it's not just like, okay, the throwing guys out here and they do something here or there. Like Kameron Johnson was big, obviously with the touchdown, But
Yeah.
there was other throws to him over the middle of the field as the Bucs are trying to salt the clock away that were so clutch in that game, or tonight's game. Sterling Shepard with the last catch that he made, breaking a couple of tackles to head all the way down the field. You never know when big moments are going to happen, but they just get it in droves. Cade Otton, another big-time game as a receiving tight end, which they may even need more from him in the next game against the Lions, depending on what happens with Emeka Egbuka. So everyone just going and making plays all across the board. I mean, how could you not be happy with the contributions you're getting from everyone? And Baker joked, like, I don't really get a lot of reps with Kameron Johnson. Well, he's certainly going to get a lot of reps this upcoming week, depending on who's going to be available and who's not available. And hopefully they get Mike Evans back for the game against the Lions, because how do you not give Baker the MVP if he's going to go through this every single game with not having all of his top players? And then also, you're missing Luke Haggard in that game as well. Your backup offensive guard, and now you're going to go to your third string, fourth string offensive guard. It's just contributions everywhere, and it's a great way to build team chemistry when everybody is helping out in one way or another. Yeah,
for sure. This was such a cool moment after escaping what looked like
such a great play.
A double team sack, right? Like he was sandwiched between two 49ers defenders. He slips out of the sack and then scrambles for a hard charging, was it a 14-yard run, something like that? And it was just absolutely insane. But the incredible play from Baker Mayfield. And to hear the crowd chant MVP, MVP, MVP after that was just amazing. And it makes you think of how they react when Bucky Irving is breaking off big runs and they chant Bucky, Bucky, Bucky. But the chants for Baker were really cool. The MVP chants raining through Raymond James Stadium. And again, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. He has 1 interception now through 6 games. And that is absolutely huge for this Buccaneer team.
The only time the ball was put in harm's way this entire game was when Rachaad White just couldn't handle the handoff exchange to him as the Bucs are trying to close it out. I think that's another big storyline as well. Not just that Baker only has 1 interception. I would say from week 3 on, Baker's not even putting the ball in harm's way. Like, there was a couple of times against Atlanta and against Houston where they got away with the defender dropping the ball or coming very close. That hasn't been the case over the last 3 to 4 games. Baker is finding the open guys, making the right decisions. Yeah, there'll be a couple of pass breakups early on, like the 49ers had one at the beginning of the game. But he's not hurting the team in any way, shape, or form. That's why he's being held as one of the best quarterbacks in the league. It's a clean game by the Bucs, and it's led to their fast start. I know they didn't have a lot of fast starts on the field, but at 5-1, there's no other way to describe it. They're playing very fundamentally sound football, and it's helping to translate into wins, and not just wins, but big wins against good football teams. And the 49ers are a really good football team too. So winning the turnover battle has really been the recipe for success for Tampa Bay.
And we have to give Josh Grizzard also some big-time credit, too, because he and Baker are obviously on the same page. The play calling, I think, has been fantastic. You know why? Not just because they're putting up 30 points in back-to-back games, but I don't know what's coming. It's not predictable, right? It's not predictable at all. It was great to – I kind of walked out of the stadium with Josh Grizzard, I said, man, 30 points again. He's like, that's the goal. That's what we're trying to do. So mission accomplished these last 2 games. The offense is coming to life. And if the defense can continue to have this type of performance where it gets pressure, it creates takeaways, it gets sacks, which result in negative yards and punts, this team is hard to beat. And I know that they're still missing some stars. When they get the stars back, they're only going to be more dangerous, but they're finding ways to win right now at less than full strength. But the thing that I really like about Grizzard is, he was winning the chess match with Robert Saleh. And you have to understand too, they lost their team captain, their heart and soul, their their defensive play caller and Fred Warner, and that was a huge injury, not just from the standpoint that he's a great player, but also he's the kind of guy, and we talked about this prior to the start of the game, that is doing the chess match, right? He's he and Baker are kind of having that pre-snap chess match, and without them, I feel like the 49ers were out of position quite a bit, especially in the second quarter. That's really, I think, where the Bucs passing game kind of took hold. And we saw Kate Otten wide open. Mm-hmm. That touchdown pass to Cam Johnson was wide open. We saw Sterling Shepard wide open for a play. Tez Johnson was wide open. So you have a lot of these play calls that were absolutely on the money. And Josh Grizzard is growing up quickly before our eyes. I mean, he is really calling some fantastic games. When you go, toe-to-toe with a guy like Robert Saleh, who has been to Super Bowls and has fielded really good defenses, and you're able to drop 30, should have been 33, but we had the missed field goal. I mean, that's good stuff, man. That really is.
Yeah, big time credit to Josh Grizzard, and definitely thinking of Fred Warner. That looked like a gruesome injury based on what we've seen on the TV. So definitely, hopefully, he gets a speedy recovery. And Tampa Bay, Josh Grizzard certainly deserves a lot of credit. I like too that he's mixing it up a lot, and he was able to scheme Emeka Egbuka open. And there was a lot of conversation before the game about, hey, like the 49ers are going to focus on Emeka Egbuka. How are you going to get him involved? Now, the Baker just didn't execute in those moments with Egbuka earlier on in the game when it got going. But I also respect, they got the ground game going. It wasn't overall spectacular by any means, but it was functional. Rachaad White had 65 rushing yards. Sean Tucker had 25 rushing yards. And, of course, Baker has big-time scramble. So they got over 100 rushing yards in the game, 104. Yeah. But I felt their running game was able to allow the Bucs to kind of do whatever they wanted to in the passing game. As far as the longer the game went on, the more they were able to put stuff together. 2 more rushing touchdowns once again, and then Baker threw for 2 as well. They're just, I mean, I don't know how many more situations you could throw Josh Grizzard into. He's had to dial up last-second drives to win. He's had to dial up plays for Mike Evans. He's had to dial up plays for Chris Godwin Jr. He's had to do it without them. He's had to do it with a 7th-round pick and a walk-on player from a season ago. Kate Otten's not involved too much. He gets Kate Otten involved. Like the makeshift offensive line. Linemen playing in other spots than where they typically play. I don't know. You'd have to go back through the history of football, but how many times a new first-time play caller has had to go through all these different maturations of this team with so many different personnel in and out of the game? It's truly mind-boggling, but Josh Grizzard has shown that he's up to the task, and he's getting better week by week, which is a terrifying thing for the rest of the league once they fully get healthy.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is I felt sorry for Liam Cohen last year, like not having Mike and Chris, but what Josh Grizzard has had to deal with is, like that makes last year look like child's play. I mean,
right?
It really, like, this is ridiculous, but yet Josh Grizzard is just unflappable and just cool as a cucumber. And like, okay, we have a new right guard. Oh, Cody Malk's out. Okay, we'll put in Luke Haggard. Luke Haggart's out. All right, we'll put in Elijah Klein. I mean, it's just the show goes on, man. And what a show this is. This is highly entertaining football. They're the most exciting game.
They are the most exciting team in the league. There is no argument.
Yep. And there's no argument about the exciting comments, questions we have from our fans. And we see you guys lining up in the chat. A lot of super chats to get to, so let's get it rolling, Matt.
Yes, we'll start it off with Paul, a.k.a. OG Baker Bro. Thank you for being a Pewter Report YouTube channel member for 14 months now. Says, we have correctly touted Baker Mayfield for MVP. When do we start talking about Todd Bowles for Coach of the Year? A 5-1 record with top-tier talent out all season on both sides of the ball. Thoughts?
It's not too early to start talking about it. We have a long way to go, right? This is 6 games out of 17, so we're not even halfway through the season yet. But yeah, it's fair to start that conversation. We're starting it with Baker Mayfield, And Todd Bowles has done a remarkable job of just being calm, cool, and collected. Next man up. He really, the story in the locker room was Todd Bowles really challenged the defense last night. Really challenged them. But that was the pregame address last night in the team hotel when they met. Was the defense had to start playing better, just had to pick it up, make more plays. Wasn't good enough what they had done so far. They answered the bell today. I mean, they really took it to the 49ers. And with the pressure, the sacks, and that was really what was missing in some of these games was the splash plays, those game-changing plays. And they almost had another one with that strip sack of Lavonte David.
Yeah.
But, instant replay overturned that. But yeah, I think it's fair. Todd Bowles, the head coach, has done a phenomenal job. Todd Bowles, the defensive play caller, had a really good game today against what was his arch nemesis in Kyle Shanahan, and finally beat them and held the 49ers under 20 points too.
Quite the bounce back when you look at the second half that the Bucs had against the Seahawks versus the second half that they had against the 49ers. And if this Bucs team gets the number 1 seed, Todd Bowles is definitely going to be in the conversation.
Yeah.
Sean McDonald, thank you for this $20 super chat. Says, I know it's irrational to hate a professional sports franchise. I wouldn't say that's irrational.
Yeah.
But going back to my former life with the St. Louis Rams, I hate the Niners with the passion of 1,000 white-hot suns. I wanted this one so freaking bad. Yeah. I respect the spite that you have for the San Francisco 49ers, and I'm glad the Bucs could get the job done for you. I respect it.
Yeah, for sure. And they got it. The mission accomplished tonight. That was the cool thing is they we talked about it on Wednesday in our pregame show, and then also on the Pewter pregame show today, Matt. They had gotten closer, 35-7, 27-14, and then 23-20. You could kind of feel this coming, and it came today in the form of a big win.
That it did. Thank you to the Real Maverick for this $9.99 super chat. Says, what a statement win. How about all 3 phases showed up today. Sacks, turnovers. It was 3. We all know he wasn't down, just doesn't have those go their way. Talking about the Lavonte strip sack. Todd called a great game. Grizz real deal. Baker MVP.
Well said.
We had the conversation a little bit, but I mean, Josh Grizzard's probably going to get head coaching interviews this offseason, but we'll worry about that in a little bit. Yeah. And special teams wasn't egregious. You had the missed field goal, and you had the penalty on Vita Vea, but it didn't shoot themselves.
Wasn't fatal.
Yeah, it wasn't fatal, thankfully.
Yeah.
Stubby Ryan, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Says 3rd and Mayfield. There's something about this guy.
Yeah.
The stretch that he did with the football to get over the marker, like sensational football IQ, awareness as well. Yeah. And there was like 3 times on that run where I thought Baker was dead to rights and that's the end of the drive. But nope, he kept it going and was absolutely sensational. Such an awesome play. Yeah. And if you want to win MVP, you need those type of highlight plays. You're not going into a game being like, all right, I got to make this look cool. But it just kind of happens that way. And Baker's been doing it once again.
Matt, we get our fair share of coach speak from Todd Bowles, right? Coach, did you know this guy was going to be this good or whatever? He's like, oh, yeah, we saw it. This doesn't surprise us because we see it all the time in practice. I appreciate Todd Bowles' candor when he was asked about that run by Baker Mayfield on, was it 3rd and 14?
Yeah.
A 14-yard run, I believe. Yeah. And we asked him, we're like, what was going through your mind? He's like, I was just like you all. I was like, how did he do it? So it's cool that Todd can actually get amazed by plays like that. It was a great moment. And again, I really appreciate, the fans chiming in with that MVP chant. I just thought that was so cool to have that moment for him because this city has rallied around him. This fan base has embraced Baker Mayfield. It's a mutual love affair. You see Baker get all excited and rile the fans up when when he comes out of the tunnel and he's introduced like he was today. And for them to just kind of like adorn him with some MVP chants. Again, Baker Mayfield could care less about the MVP. He wants the Super Bowl MVP, because if he gets the Super Bowl MVP, that means he's getting a ring too. Yep. That's what he's solely focused on right now.
Paul, aka OG Baker Bro, thanks for the $2 super chat, says prayers up for Fred Warner. Same injury as Godwin. Yeah, it looked really bad, and definitely thinking of him. But
yeah, for sure.
Never want to see any injuries to players, and especially not that type of one. And Paul, aka OG Baker Bro, also gifting 1 Pewter Report membership. So thank you very much for your kindness.
Yeah, thank you.
From one Paul to another, Paul Morales, thank you for this $4.99 super chat. Says no words for Baker. How he manages to have that one big run every game is wild, and I am here for it. It's just so funny because he's not the fastest guy. He doesn't have all of these like flashy looking moves to make people miss. It's just turning his head down and getting up the field and willing himself and finding a way to get past defenders and get a first down. Like, he's not hitting these crazy spin moves and stuff. He's got a pretty good like little shimmy shake kind of going on, but it outside of that, it's just muscle and stiff arms and all these crazy things. But he does a spectacular job with it.
Yeah, he really does. I mean, well said. And I think you hit on the right adjective. He wills this to happen. He's willing this team to win. He wills himself to get first downs and keep drives alive. And it's everything you want in a leader. It's everything you want in a quarterback. He's got the arm. He's got the football IQ. He's got the legs. He's got it all. And he is that guy. He is the first overall draft pick of the 2018 NFL draft. He is the Heisman Trophy winner. He is the leading front runner in the MVP right now. Thank you, Cleveland Browns, for freeing Baker Mayfield and allowing him to become what he's become in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, shout out to them as they still try to find their franchise quarterback. Paul, a.k.a. OG Baker Bro, thank you.
He says, SR press room reactions after the missed field goal.
Thank you for this $2 super chat.
Yeah. SR press room reactions after the missed field goal. Yeah, I mean, it was, we were a little flabbergasted. We were like, oh, he missed it? Oh, because usually he's in the zone here at Raymond James Stadium, and we thought he made it. It turned out that wasn't the case, but, the press room, the press box really reacted to Baker Mayfield's run. That was that and the Jamel Dean interception, those got the biggest reactions in the press box. Because, I mean, again, who had Jamel Dean leading this team with 2 interceptions this year?
Right?
Not me. Nobody.
Any of us did.
Yeah.
It was funny to see Baker again be like, Dean caught another one. He caught another one. Like, everyone's kind of in on the joke now, which.
For sure.
Yeah, which is funny. Ninadmatic, thank you for this. Thank you for being a Pewter Report YouTube channel member for 4 months. Says 5-1. Bravo. Go Bucs. That's right. If the Lions, who are currently trailing 6-3 to the Chiefs, if they lose tonight, I believe the Bucs will be in sole possession of the #1 seed in the NFC. And that's quite a spot to be in.
Hey, regardless, next Monday night, Tampa Bay at Detroit. That is going to be an absolute barn burner of a game. Yeah. Regardless of what happens tonight, Detroit's a good football team. They're playing Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. That's a hard place to win. They've actually won there before. They won there in the season opener a couple of years ago. But still, whether it's a 1-loss Detroit team or a 2-loss Detroit team, that is going to be one hell of a game Monday night.
Yeah, I can't wait for it. It's going to be a blast. The Real Maverick, thank you for this $4.99 super chat. Says, let's give Dean props. 2 interceptions this year. Lavonte David showed he is still ageless. Sack, tackling. I'll say it again. That was a fumble. Pewter Report rocks. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Jamel Dean has been one of the great surprises this season with the 2 interceptions that he had and the forced fumble today as well. And Yeah, seems like he made the right decision to
For
ask
sure.
for this
That's
year to be the
exactly right.
final year of his contract because he's going to get paid pretty well this offseason,
The Bucs,
regardless of
the
who he
Bucs
goes
might want
to.
to re-sign him. They might
Yeah,
just say, "Hey, Jamel, we screwed up. You did really well. Let's get you back on board." But I like this hungry Jamel Dean. This is
yeah,
something we talked about when he got the big deal, and they kind of chose him over Sean Murphy Bunting. Feels like a little bit of complacency set in with Jamel. Now they draft Benjamin Morrison, second-round pick, draft another corner in Jacob Parrish, third round. Asked Jamel to take a pay cut. His back's kind of against the wall, and we're seeing the best version of Jamel Dean, and it's really fun to see.
and Lavonte David, he's still going to have his moments where he looks a little bit slower, and that's just going to come with him being 30 years old, playing middle linebacker. But I thought he had a really good open field tackle against Christian McCaffrey, which is not easy to do at all. And credit to the Bucs, Lavonte included, but the whole Bucs defense for limiting Christian McCaffrey and what he did today. He got targeted a lot, and understandably so. We kind of expected that, but he did not hurt the Bucs. Yes, he had a rushing touchdown from a yard out, but he did not kill the Bucs. It was Kendrick Bourne that was really dicing it up with the Bucs, but job well done there for Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Meets McGee, thank you for this $2 super chat. Says, from the naked eye, looked like Servatier Dennis played well.
Yeah, Servatier Dennis did play well. I kind of called out the Bucs linebackers for kind of being the weak link in pass defense. I credit Todd Bowles for playing a lot of underneath zone. At least that's what it looked like to me when I was watching on most of those plays, but I wasn't watching the line of scrimmage. Keeping Christian McCaffrey in front of you, right? That's the whole key on defense is don't let him make you miss. Don't let him make you look bad and get the yards after catch. And so Servatier Dennis also was a clutch tackler today. He had 7 tackles. He was tied for second on the team. Antoine Winfield Jr. had 9 to lead the Buccaneers. And Servatier and Jacob Parrish each had 7. Tyke Smith and Lavonte each had 6. But 6 solo tackles. And a lot of those were against Christian McCaffrey. So I really appreciated the way that Dennis rallied. He also had a nice tackle for loss in the backfield on Christian McCaffrey. That's not easy either. So this was a really good performance. 10 quarterback hits for the Buccaneers today as I'm looking at this. 10 quarterback hits, 6 sacks. Great job overall by this Bucs defense. And the linebackers did play well today, and they had to.
Defense looked much better today. It was a great rebound for them after a pretty poor performance against the Seahawks, but they brought it today against the Niners. Timothy Fitzgerald, thank you for the $2 super chat. Says Baker, Freegan, like his middle name Reagan, Mayfield baby, MVP, LFB Bucs. Let's freaking bake, Bucs. I mean, Baker has to be the front runner at this point, especially because Buffalo, I believe, is on a bye. The Rams only scored 17 points, so you kind of take Puka Nacua out of it.
Yeah.
Baker's the
and
front
Puka
runner.
Nacua got hurt today, too, I believe.
Oh, damn.
I think he did. At least I heard that.
Paul, a.k.a. OG Baker Bro, thank you for the $2 super chat, says, starting to feel like the Bucs are a team of destiny.
It kind of feels that way. This is a special season, and tonight wasn't really a cardiac crew night. This was a game where the Buccaneers, I felt, had control of this game for most of it, and they only fell behind 10-7 and early in the game, but then after that they took control of the lead and they maintained it. And this fan base was super excited to see it for sure. There's been a lot of great games here at Raymond James Stadium. I have a feeling the next one is going to be great too. Actually, they're all going to be great. I'm just going to say that. But there's going to be another game, the creamsicle game. They've checked off a lot of boxes this year. Matt, they broke the Monday night curse, the primetime curse. They finally beat the 49ers. They've won 2 games in their 1976 throwback creamsicle jerseys. Not creamsicle jerseys, but with the creamsicle numbers. But there's going to be another game in the creamsicle uniforms, and that's going to be Week 15 against the Atlanta Falcons on Thursday Night Football. And our friends over at Briar Greaves are doing it again. Folks, they want your business, and all you have to do to get registered to win for a pair of lower level tickets to that Thursday night game coming up is give Briar Greaves Insurance a call. Call them tomorrow on a Victory Monday. They love to hear from you. They're huge Tampa Bay fans. Give them a call at 813-876-4166. What they want to do is they want to see if they can get you a better rate. Is that okay? Would you like to save some money on your auto, homeowners, flood, boaters, or business insurance? Well, one call to Briar Greaves will allow them to take some information down and do all of the digging for you. They'll do the legwork. They'll check out all of the different companies that they rep. I'm with Travelers. They also rep Geico. There's a lot of different insurance companies that they rep, and they're going to try to give you the best rates possible. But they need one thing from you, a phone call. Give them a call at 813-876-4166, and you will be entered into a raffle to win a pair of tickets to the Bucs-Falcons game. Matt, that's going to be a big one.
Oh, yeah.
On Thursday night at Raymond James Stadium, the creamsicle throwback jersey. It's going to be a fun night. And let the folks at Briar Greaves get you entered into that raffle to win a pair of lower-level tickets to that game. Visit them on the web at briargreavesinsurance.com or give them a call on Monday, Victory Monday, 813-876-4166, and say, hey, heard about you guys on the Pewter Report podcast. How can you save me money on my insurance? Let them do all the work, and I think you're going to be really happy with the outcome.
Mondays are always better when it's a Victory Monday, so make sure you give Briar Greaves a call. Stubby Ryan, thank you for this $1.99 super chat. Says, kudos to Baker for saying a bit for Fred Warner.
Yeah, for sure. He's one of those guys that he's just an ultimate competitor.
Yeah.
You hate playing against him, but you love his game. He's such a phenomenal player, literally one of the best players in the league. So that is a brutal injury, and I think Buccaneer fans can certainly understand what he's going through and will be going through, because Chris Godwin had a very similar injury, and it is just not great. And this was a 49ers defense too, Matt. We talked about it. Didn't have a lot of star power. Robert Saleh comes back to San Francisco. A lot of those guys he coached that were Pro Bowlers, they're gone. Fred Warner was like that last missing piece now with Nick Bosa on injured reserve. And now they don't have Fred Warner. This might be the downward spiral we see for the 49ers, who thankfully for them raced out to a 3-0 lead in the NFC West division. But that's a big blow to them from a leadership standpoint, from a playmaking standpoint. We'll see if the 49ers can recover from this. Yeah,
really unfortunate. And they're still a good football team, but I mean, a team can only deal with so many injuries, whether you're the 49ers or the Bucs too. I mean, we're also seeing it firsthand.
Yeah, for sure.
Sean McDonald, thank you for this $10 super chat. Says, so the field, what's up with that? Are they wearing the wrong cleats? Is this from sharing the stadium with USF? Looked like a flippin' hockey game at times out there.
Well, USF wasn't to blame because they played Friday night at North Texas.
Yeah, North Texas. That was a good game.
Yeah, that was a great game. Yeah, and so the Bulls didn't play here this weekend. The field's in good shape. Can't blame that on that. But I did ask Kendall Vildor about his interception. He had a pick kind of twice, really, if he could just get up.
Yeah, he could have moonwalked.
I know. I felt bad, and he's smiling here because this is after he fell for a second time. He just couldn't get up and get into the end zone. But yeah, it certainly was a little slippery out there. The Buccaneers defensive backs fell a couple times in coverage. I think Kendrick Bourne was the beneficiary on a couple of those slips. And sometimes that happens. But I think Kendall Vildor said, that the footing was a little slick out there. And the good news for Tampa Bay is they're going to be playing on turf next time they play, which would be Monday Night Football. However, the USF Bulls got a big win, and they've got a huge game coming up. It's their homecoming game against a Florida Atlantic team that got Trent Dilfer fired. That's right. Dilfer was the head coach of the UAB Blazers and was down there in Boca over the weekend. And the Owls came through with the big wins. This is going to be a big game at Raymond James Stadium on Saturday night. That's right. The Buccaneers are the hottest team in town, and so is USF. They're right there too. Only one loss. They might be destined for a playoff bid. What a great season that Alex Golish and the Bulls are having. This Tampa Bay's team. If you're a big college football fan, be at the stadium, Raymond James Stadium, Saturday, October 18th. It's a night game against an up-and-coming FAU Owls team. There's some bad blood between the Owls and the Bulls these last 2 years. It's been crazy. FAU came in here and stomped the Bulls 2 years ago. Last year, Alex Golish and the Bulls returned the favor in Boca Raton. The coaches didn't even shake hands after the game. Now, the FAU coach has since been fired, but this is going to be a great game. Go to usfbullstix.com. Get your tickets for the Bulls' homecoming game against FAU as they try to march towards a college playoff bid.
Yeah, it's been a great season for teams that play their home games at Raymond James Stadium.
That's right.
USF and the Bucs.
Yeah.
Justin Montag has a $1.99 super chat. Thank you very much. Says, every game Chase McLaughlin misses a kick, we win. I don't know if that's the exact trend that you want.
Right.
I don't know. I still overall believe in Chase McLaughlin, but I can't say I have 100% certainty that he's going to hit all of his kicks the way that I think we did last year and the way that we did in week 1 up until he started missing kicks. But it was good that he rebounded. He's still one of the better kickers in the league. But
I agree.
Yeah, it was kind of like, all right, you had the 49ers on the ropes.
Yeah.
And you missed the punch with, ironically, a kick. But was able to make up for it.
Exactly.
Marcos, thank you for the $1.99 super chat, says Baker's out here 5-1 playing with undrafted free agents. Yeah. And he's finding a way to win time and time again.
That's right.
Thomas Moore, thank you for this $19.99 super chat. Says, guys, defense showed up in the second half. Still don't get Reddick dropping off. Special teams struggled again. Kickoff crew solid, though. Just Chase missing. What was that 2-point try? And hamstrings remain a Buck curse.
I think what happened was the penalty, the unnecessary roughness call, or the personal foul call, pushed up the make attempt of the 2-point conversion from with the 3-yard line or 2.5, whatever it is, to basically like just a yard. And I think Todd Bowles said, all right, well, I like my guys' chances of getting a yard, even though it really didn't kind of make sense by the book. I just think Bowles was kind of like, feeling himself a little bit going, all right, I think we can get a yard, guys. It just didn't happen. But that to me, I believe, is why they did that, to go up 8 points, or it would have been 9 points, right?
Yeah, it would have been 9.
Would have been 9. I mean, that's 2 scores. And I think that's why they went for it. But in the end, it didn't come back to bite them. So that was the important thing.
Yeah, I had no issue with it. There were some fans during the game day show that didn't like that they went for 2. But you see this all the time. If there's like a penalty on a touchdown or even on the extra point after, if it's on the defense, you can move it up. And you see teams go for 2 a lot of the times. And I think the context of it as well, where if you didn't get it, which they didn't, you're still up 7.
Yeah,
to go up 2 scores, I think was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Paul, a.k.a. OG Baker Bro, thank you for this $2 super chat, says Baker MVP, Bowles Coach of the Year, Light Executive of the Year.
Folks, if that happens, then you can also add the 3rd Super Bowl to this franchise. I think if that's the parlay you're going to play right there, then you might as well throw some cash down on the Super Bowl too, because if that happens, this will be perhaps the most special season of all in Tampa Bay. I mean, 50th year, and then to win another Super Bowl would be fantastic. We're not going to count the chickens before they're hatched, but yeah, what a special season it's shaping up to be. And I think the whole key is you got to keep Baker Mayfield healthy, because he is the engine of this team, the heartbeat of this team.
Oh, for sure. And I think Light probably has more of a claim to Executive of the Year than maybe Bowles Coach of the Year, because Light's kind of been building these drafts for several years. But hey, I mean, if the Bucs only lose 1 game the entire season, it would be difficult not to give Todd Bowles Coach of the Year.
Right.
But,
for sure.
Yeah, we'll talk more about this in December when the standings are a little more juiced up. Stubby Ryan says, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. We haven't talent. F them picks.
Yeah, it's kind of like the LA Rams war cry out there, right? When they trade picks, away for players and whatnot. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, right now, this team is super deep at a lot of positions, and some of these positions, wide receivers, one of them is being really tested. But again, to have Sterling Shepard and Tez Johnson and Cam Johnson this year, as opposed to Raheem Jarrett, Trey Palmer, and either Sterling Shepard or Ryan Miller last year. That's kind of what this offense was down to. It's a better unit. There's no doubt about it.
Glenn Williams, parentheses, Southern Pride. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Says, SR said it. Emeka Egbuka will have a bad game. Jinx. JK. LOL.
Did I say that? I don't think I said Emeka Egbuka would have a bad game, but maybe, I don't know. I say a lot of stuff, but
we're on a lot of shows. They kind of all blend in together sometimes.
That's true. That is a fact. Yeah.
Paul, aka OG Baker Bro, thank you for gifting another Pewter Report YouTube channel membership. We appreciate you big time. So thank you. Bucs Basement, thanks for this $5 super chat. Says Light has to make a move. This team is too good not to invest at the deadline. Go get us a pass rusher that would elevate us so much more.
That might be coming. I don't know. I mean, it depends. You got Yaya Diaby with 3 sacks now. He's leading the team. I agree from a consistency standpoint, it hasn't been there as much as you'd like to see. He still has about 3 weeks to go before the trading deadline. So
yeah,
he's going to be evaluating and talking with Mike Beal and Rob McCartney and Mike Greenberg about, what may or may not happen. So he's certainly keeping his ear to the ground and his eyes on the field, and we'll see what happens if any deals do end up getting made.
I think there's definitely something to be said about the lack of consistency with the edge rushers. Now, they were like, Yaya was great today, 2 sacks. Yeah. It was his best game of the season. But as we've also said with Yaya, he hasn't really stacked together those games. It's one brilliant game, then 2 to 3 invisible games, and you just can't have that.
Yeah, and we'll see if this was an isolated incident or if this is the beginning of a trend. With Yaya, we'll see.
Yo Bucko, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Says too soon to worry about losing Josh Grizzard. I think so. I think you just got to enjoy the ride right now. I think that's another thing that come conversation time in December, I think we'll have more of a picture of everything. Miami does worry me, though, given that he has history coaching.
That's true. That's very true. Oh, do you happen to think that the Mike's on thin ice down there? Is that what you're saying?
Potentially, with players showing up late and not going to team meetings, and the 1-win start.
Yeah.
Evan McCool, thank you for this $4.99 super chat. Says, can the bye week get here soon?
Yeah, I think the players. Here's the thing. I mean, the Bucs are playing really, really well right now, too. Right, that's part of it. They're on a heater right now. They're feeling it. Granted, they're dropping like flies out there due to injuries, but at the same time, they've got some momentum here. They're feeling it. They're hot right now, and this is a team that, especially on the offensive side. I mean, back-to-back games with 30 points or more. It's a very good sign. Now you're seeing a couple of these takeaways. This is back-to-back games where they've had a total of 4 takeaways on defense. That's something that was missing early on in the season. Didn't have any pass rush really against Seattle, but it came to life tonight. So we'll see what happens against the Lions. Still a couple big tests on this team's schedule. You got the Lions, you got the Rams on Sunday Night Football. That's going to be another barn burner. Buffalo is going to be huge. Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield.
Winner decides MVP. I think that's
how
it could be decided.
It could. That's right. It could.
Yeah. So it is interesting because the Bucs, they got mojo right now with these wins against big teams. You don't want to slow that down, but also you want Mike Evans, Chris Godwin Jr., Luke Gedeke, all these guys to heal up. So, Thomas Moore, thank you for the $1.99 super chat, is suggesting that they trade for Myles Garrett. I don't know if that's going to happen, though, because they just paid Myles Garrett. So, but we'll see. Amazement 717. Thank you very much for this $4.99 super chat. Says Baker's run and that Tez touchdown. Stadium hasn't rocked that hard in a long time. ... Incredible.
What an amazing catch by Tez Johnson. I mean, he laid out for that. I mean, that was such a pro catch. And what a steal this guy is. I mean, you think about Jason Light's day 3 steals, stars, right? You've got guys like Kate Otten, 4th round pick, Bucky Irving, 4th round pick, Zion McCollum, 5th round pick, Servassier Dennis, 5th round pick. But I mean, he's never really hit on a 7th round pick before, like this guy, you know? And then you got Elijah Roberts, another 5th round pick. I mean,
another sack today, half sack.
Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy. It's crazy to see what's happening on day 3 in Tampa. And again, we'll see how Tez flourishes. I mean, I think he's a starting caliber wide receiver. He's not a number 1,
right?
But when you look at the future wide receiving core, and I wrote about this in my SRS Fab 5. Emeka Egbuka is the number 1. We know that. Jalen McMillan, I think, can be a great number 2. He can be kind of that Chris Godwin-like number 2.
For sure.
Even though Emeka Egbuka plays more like Godwin, what I mean by that number 2 is Mike is 1A and Chris is 1B. And I think Jalen is more of a 1B kind of guy. And then Tez Johnson's your 3rd for the future going forward, right? Because Sterling Shepard's not going to play forever. He's 32. Mike is 32. Chris is 29. This is a great place for Baker Mayfield, Jason Light, Josh Grizzard, whoever's going to be calling plays, to be in going forward, because you've got these young guys helping the team now, and they're going to be around for years and years and years. And that's just so exciting for this franchise.
That they are. And I mean, it was such a sensational play by Tez Johnson, going all out, full extension to make the catch. And I think also what I was so impressed by is you'll see at times too, people extend as much as they possibly can, but then they land on the ground because they can't even really brace themselves. And that's where the ball moves and it gets reviewed. But that didn't happen with Tez Johnson. So to me, that was almost just as impressive as even getting his hand on the football in the first place. But yeah, what a fun, exciting play.
Yeah.
Sap Drive, thank you for the $2 super chat. Says, with 6 sacks, do we still look for outside help?
I mean, maybe. I mean, he had 0 sacks last week, so if you average it out, it's 3. That's not like world beater status. But again, if the Buccaneers go on a run here, if you get 3 to 4 or 5 in Detroit, and I'm not saying that's going to happen, but if it does happen, then you feel better about this. The more sacks, the more pressure you're putting on the quarterback, the less likely maybe Jason Light is to go out and make a blockbuster trade. Maybe you get like another depth piece or something. But you know what? I will say this. Chris Braswell is not like the pass rusher this team hoped he would be. Dude can play on special teams.
Yeah, he makes tackles.
He made a couple of really good special teams tackles, man. And then, you want more than just special teams prowess for your 2nd round pick, but he got the job done. Just almost like our Pewter Report Platinum members. They get the job done. And we have a new one too, Matt. But first, we're going to read off the names of the old standby: Scott Federico, Rachel Gordon, Noah Parr, Scotty J, Dave Anderson. We met a lot of you guys like Hezo813 either on the Bucs cruise or at our get-together. Ash Fishpool, Joel Elrican, Sam, John Dale Morris, Zach Brannigan, RP89. We thank you all. Connor For Reals, Kevin Thomas, Leighton Carter, my guy Leighton, Brandon Riley, Alec Bickler, Nick Dubuque, Zach Jarvis, Mario Thomas, Eric McMillan, Dominique Tarantino, HK Bucks. Folks, this list is getting longer because y'all are supporting Pewter Report. We appreciate that. Brayon Pinckney, The Real Maverick, The Guys Gifted, Brian Shucker, and Steven Zool. Thank you. He's our latest Pewter Platinum member. So thank you so much for supporting our efforts here at Pewter Report TV. We love all of our subscribers. It's free and easy to hit the subscribe button and join us. We're over 21,400 subscribers, thanks to you. But if you're looking for a way to take your support for Pewter Report to a whole new level, you can do that by becoming a channel member. And yes, folks, I have got the Emeka Egbuka emoji done. It is loaded, and you can use it. fire at will with those emojis. We've got a whole bunch of new ones over the last couple of weeks, including Emeka Ibuka. So loyalty badges and custom emojis, you get to use those when you are a Pewter Report Pewter People member for $3.99 a month. The Pewter Pro members get those, plus early access to our videos. The Pewter Premier members and Pewter Platinum members get access to our Pewter Insider podcast that Matt and I do on Fridays at 1:30. That's a bonus podcast with the freshest information from Friday's practice heading into the weekend. And we have, for our Pewter Platinum members, we're going to send out another round of free merch. So if you haven't gotten your free merch yet, you will in the next week or two. Plus, you get access to our annual Platinum member meetups in Tampa during minicamp. We had Mike Greenberg and Zion McCollum join us, plus the whole Pewter Report staff, minus Josh Capo. He wasn't there, but everybody else was there. We had a grand old time at Walk-Ons, and that's we're looking to do an even bigger and better event this year. So find the membership level that fits your budget the best, and please sign up and help support this channel. We use all of our YouTube revenue from the Pewter Report TV channel for our travel budget. That gets us on the road with some of these away games, the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama, the Combine in Indianapolis, as well as the NFL annual meeting. And we even go to places like Jacksonville and Pittsburgh in the preseason for those joint practices too. So greatly appreciate the support of all of our members, and please consider becoming a Pewter Report TV channel member today.
Yes, thank you very much, everyone. Spinks, thanks for the $5 super chat. Says Dean seems at his best during years where he is trying to get paid next year.
I agree.
That's the case for a lot of players, but yes, it's certainly standing out. Christopher Waits, thanks for the $4.99. Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski need to be fired into the sun. Browns, they got a lot of problems. DeGreen Flamingo, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Who's better, Baker right now or Baker in the future?
Baker right now, man.
Yeah, the one thing about Baker is the older he gets, he's not going to be able to do the crazy, chaotic scrambles that we saw today and that he's done all season long. At that point, he'll wise up and know that he'll win games in other ways, but I mean, nobody's playing better than Baker right now, so it's got to be this version of Baker.
I agree.
Michelle C, thank you for the $5 super chat. Asking, will Jason do anything before the trade deadline? Awesome, 5-1. Let's freaking bake.
We'll see. We'll see if he feels there's any moves to be made. A lot can happen in the next couple of weeks from an injury standpoint.
Yeah.
To teams start falling out of contention and players become available. We'll see. We'll see how frisky Jason Light is around the trading deadline. He typically doesn't do a whole bunch, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a different year though, so it could garner something different as well. Bucs fan 76, thank you for the $5 super chat. Bucs should go after Mark Andrews, the Ravens tight end. He's Baker's ex-teammate going back to Oklahoma, and adds good depth with all the injuries. He probably cost a day 3 pick or a swap.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've been kind of thinking more about that a little bit. And, Cade Otton does a lot of things in the passing game, but I do remember too, when they didn't have Cade Otton with that knee injury or leg injury down the stretch last year, Payne Durham and Devin Culp came to life. Yeah. Remember that Panthers game, right? Mm-hmm. And Payne had back-to-back touchdowns against the Panthers and the Saints down the stretch. So I don't know. Maybe if it was a pick swap, I don't know that Jason would want to give up a pick for Mark Andrews, but I'm sure Baker Mayfield and Sterling Shepard would love to have a little sooner reunion, though, just selfishly speaking. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea of getting Devin Culp more involved in the passing game, especially if he has to essentially be like an emergency wide receiver with all these injuries that the team has. I think there's still enough talent in-house with it. Eric Moreno, thank you for these super chats. This one of $2 says, would you be surprised if Ibuka plays versus the Lions? And this $5 super chat says, with the extra day, does that help Ibuka of playing versus the Lions next Monday?
I don't know. Todd Bowles was asked how severe that hamstring injury was. He didn't know. So I'm going to say typically in hamstring injuries is not something you come back from and play the next week. We'll see. Not ruling it out by any means. I'm not a doctor, but usually you miss at least a game with a hamstring injury. and sometimes more, depending on the severity of it. So I just don't know.
It would be so Bucs for Emeka Egbuka to miss the game on Monday, but hey, Mike Evans is back, and then the following week, Chris Godwin Jr. returns, but then someone else is out.
Carousel of revolving receivers that never get to play with each other. Yeah.
I think the extra day helps with Mike coming back, and I think Zion McCollum as well. So hopefully,
I agree. Yeah.
Galveston will be very well represented in Detroit next Monday. Glenn Williams, thank you for this $5 super chat. Says SR said Emeka Egbuka is due to have a bad game.
When did I say that?
And this is the game, due to the team trying to shut him down. That will be an opportunity for the other wide receivers.
I don't think I said he's going to have a bad game. I do think that teams are going to focus on him. Listen, Emeka Egbuka is a fantastic player. I'm not throwing shade at him whatsoever. But this was a game where other receivers stood up and played, and thankfully they did. I don't remember saying that he would have a bad game, though. But I'm getting old, so maybe I did. I don't know.
And also, Egbuka was getting open. Baker just wasn't able to find him the football up until his injury. So I don't even think Egbuka had a bad game. Baker had some bad throws to him specifically, and then was incredible in the second half. But unfortunately, Egbuka wasn't available for that. So I don't know. Well, we'll have to see if Egbuka is even available for next week, or who is going to be available.
Yeah, exactly. SBR Slayer, all the get off my lawn energy. I'm an old man, and sometimes I do say get off my lawn. It's fun to be old sometimes. Get off my lawn, old man. Shakes fist at sky. All of those fun Simpsons emojis and all that.
Yeah,
so
yells at clown.
He's a A13. SR says a lot of things. Honestly, don't remember him saying that. I do say a lot of things, but I'm with you. But listen, this was a lot of fun. You all came in great numbers tonight. Just want to say thank you so much for supporting our videos here. Yeah. The likes, the comments that you guys leave, we go back and read them all, and it's just great how you've supported this. This is really your channel. We're just kind of the hosts of it, but you guys are the stars of the show. I mean, the Buccaneers are technically the stars of the show, but y'all have a front row seat, and it's just so much of fun to read these comments, even though we can't post them all because we'll be here all night. But I mean, we read the comments off to the side here. We post the super chats, of course. We greatly appreciate the support from the super chats. It's awesome. We are rapidly growing this channel. We'll be at 22,000, 23,000 before you know it, 25,000. And it's not just during football season. It's also year round too. Yep. In the off season, you all support us in our quest to find who the new offensive coordinator is going to be every year for this team, all the way through to free agency and the draft, and then the rookie mini camp, OTAs, training camp, the whole shebang. So you guys are great. Just thank you so much for helping to grow this channel. Do us a favor. Tell your friends about us. Tell your coworkers, hey, have you watched the Pewter Report podcast? And if they say no, then say, hey, guess what? Matt and Scott have got this Victory Monday podcast coming out tomorrow at 4:00. So we're going to do roll call. We're going to learn hopefully a little bit more about some of these injuries and who might be back. We're going to be talking to Todd Bowles at 12:30. So it's let's do it again. Let's do it again at 4:00 tomorrow. Another Victory Monday podcast. As Desert Dog 2K says, hit the like button to show support for SR and Maddie. So I totally agree.
Yeah, and plus we'll have roll call during Victory Monday, and it's fun talking about a winning team and a potential Super Bowl.
It's just a lot of fun
as well. Yeah, this has already been such a fun season. We're a month and a half into it, and still a lot of games to go. A lot of big games as well, including playing Detroit on Monday night. So thank you.
Just one little quick thing here too. This is SBR Slayer Red Board days for the win, and Red Board was the time for John B. Yeah, we're in a new world now with social media and podcasts and stuff. Not that we still have the message board for people that want to use it, but we do a lot obviously on X, the formerly known as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and just greatly appreciate your support. A lot of you guys have migrated over here and have infiltrated the comments and leave questions and stuff, and we just love it. It's great. So we love the in-podcast chats. We also love the comments after the podcast. So please leave a comment. That's fantastic. And we'll do our best to give you more information on these injuries tomorrow. at 4 o'clock.
That is right. Yeah. So thank you, everyone, so much for your support. We really do appreciate it. And if you're not already doing so, please make sure you're following us on all of our social media on X, Facebook, and Instagram. We are at Pewter Report, and our YouTube channel is Pewter Report TV. Please like and subscribe. Leave a comment on this video. How you feel about this team after they won yet again to get to 5-1 on the season. That's going to do it for us on tonight's show. For Scott Reynolds, I'm Matt Matera saying thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for another edition of the Pewter Report podcast. Out.